When you see me, what do you see? Do you see a black man or do you see a Chicano? Well, I'm here to tell you I'm both. Taking this class has helped me really realize and understand that I struggle, and I did struggle with some of the same contemporary issues that a lot of the members of the Latinx community faced, specifically in regard to self-identification and the abstractness of that identification. Being a multi-ethnic black man, I consistently find myself feeling like an outcast in my own community. I was raised by a Mexican mother and abuelita and had the same traditional upbringing as most other Chicano children, but because my father is black and my skin doesn't pass the eye test, I am reduced to a literal black sheep role. These are mis padres. My mom, first generation Chicana, she instilled in me the traditional Mexican values of God, family, loyalty above all, but also she instilled in me a Latino pride that she didn't let myself or anyone call into question. This is my dad, black man from LA, by way of Southern Louisiana roots. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend a tremendous amount of time with my father as a child. So like I said, I had a thorough traditional Latino upbringing. That's why I refer to myself as a mestizo. Daniel Enrique Perez says in Toward a Mariposa Consciousness, calling yourself a mestizo is a way to reaffirm your identity. So anytime I get a chance, I reaffirm that bitch. My parents were extremely influential aspects of my life. However, due to my father being in and out of prisons, and despite the jokes and ridicule, I had a thorough and traditional Mexican upbringing. Some of my fondest memories of this and the recuerdos are the caldo. In 100-degree weather, hot soup gives you character. I remember family parties I would go as late as 2 to 3 a.m. And when I'm too tired to stay up, I'd go to my room and find a random baby in my bed. I remember the tiger blanket from the Frontera that still to this day I will argue is unmatched in regards to warmth and versatility. I remember celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve and opening presents at 12 a.m. sharp and eating so many tamales that I couldn't move. I remember trips to Mexico visiting family. Soy Chicano. Soy la raza. Despite sharing the same heritage and culture with mi gente, I am constantly feeling ostracized based on my blackness. Racism and discrimination has been a staple in my life. Some of the bad shit I'd be called by my people were mayate, chango, negrito. But what seemed to hurt me almost just as much, just because of my competitive fire, was being picked last for soccer, or them just assuming I'm fast and that's it. As George Hartley wrote in The Curandera of Conquest, Gloria Anzalua's Decolonial Remedy, Anzalua states, the social forces of oppression give birth to internalized colonialism. And that's what I realized taking this class that I was battling with. It wasn't with really mi gente. It was internalized colonialism that was instilled generations ago and was just passed down, and that I was feeling the effects of. Just like we saw in the article, how female brown berets created their own Chicano movement, my Chicano sisters who were integral members of the movement were discriminated against and forced to fight against their own people. I was put in the same position where I myself was fighting against my own people and their mindsets just so I can have proper and appropriate recognition and status. Any chance I would get, I would reply in Spanish. Anytime I get trash talked, I would reply in Spanish and trash talk them right back. However, I still was subject to epithets, racial epithets like abuelita and little Bill. And they called me abuelita because of the popular Mexican hot chocolate brand, abuelita. And they called me Little Bill, obviously, because of the cartoon character Little Bill, the little black kid. They would call me things like that. And it hurt, but eventually I turned these epithets into liberatory devices. And Daniel Enrique Perez says in Toward a Mariposa Consciousness, the act of reclaiming and resignifying a term that has been historically used to denigrate a group of people can function as a liberatory device in a variety of contexts, especially when appropriated by the subject the term was originally intended to marginalize. That spoke to me in so many ways because that's what I have done, and that's what I found myself doing without even knowing it. My Mexican side consistently rejects me. I look like a black man, but every time I hear Chente, my mestizo spirit shines through. This is the beauty of my abstract identity. Soy Chicano, pero soy Africano también. I am Chicano. I was raised by a Chicano mother, but I do have an African father, and I do have African roots and Nigerian blood running through my veins. This is me. This is who I am. And this is the abstractness of my identity. And this is what I believe Aslan is. In El Plan de Aslan, it says, brotherhood unites us, and love for our brothers makes us a people. And that's what I believe all Chicano people should learn, is that we're all a people, regardless of where you're from in Latin America. It could be Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. It doesn't matter. Somos la raza. Somos la gente. Some of the contemporary issues that I have realized in my life that I share is, once again, in regard to self-identification, in regard to identifying as both Latino and African, and that being who I am, and not being one more than the other. I am both, firmly set in there, and I will not let anyone call that into question. Because of that, I've gone through my own renacimiento. I've gone through my own personal renaissance in regard to that identification. This is why I believe the most important issue that I want members of the Chicano and Latinx community to learn is that we're all la raza, todos. And education is key. Once we become educated as a people, we can realize our true potential by our own self-determination. And we can be who we really were meant to be. And get out from the foot of colonialism and all the racist legislation and covert racism that has been a key pivotal step in this country. We can overcome that, and we can realize our true potential, and we can stop hating each other and come together so in solidarity, so we're unable to be pulled apart. This is why I feel education is key, and this is why I feel all Chicano people should understand and learn. Thank you for your time.